Sunbanana, you culture creations. It's been a long while since I posted, but things are about to get more consistent on the southern tip. Over the last few months, I've been working a warehouse job for a large distributor of consumer goods and electronics. I just recently quit, after my boss had told me I needed to work the entire week straight leading up to Black Friday, as well as a 16-hour shift on the warehouse the day of. At this point, I had saved up enough money to make the job irrelevant to my needs, so I quit, served 3 days' notice, and was done. Now, I was in a fairly lucky position. I didn't need the job to survive. I'm a university student who had to take the year off due to personal reasons, and the job was for extra cash to buy some equipment for next year at school. Many of my co-workers would not have been able to just quit, regardless of the abhorrent conditions that week. So I thought, with an outsider's perspective, having worked at the lower lungs of corporate South Africa, in the warehouse for 12-hour days, 6 days a week, for the last 3 months, I could share some things I've learned. That convoluted monologue out of the way, perhaps what was the most surprising aspect of a job involving hard labor is that, well, it's hard to do. And for those of you typing furiously in the comments, of course, I knew it would be difficult to do. I'm not that sheltered. But what I'm talking about is the antithetical nature of a job like that, compared to my own day-to-day life. 2 years ago, in university for example, I would spend days sitting for maybe 10 hours or so. A little bit of aerobic exercise or weightlifting or running every now and then, but not much in any way of physical toil. I never considered just how tiring it can be to be on your feet the whole day, moving heavy stuff around. I know that makes me sound princessy or spoiled, but I make this point for those of you who've never worked a job like this, or in construction, mining, or something similar. People can look down on blue-collar workers because of the pay, or the lower educational requirements, but you have to understand, these guys work hard. Much harder than you probably. And a physical job also depletes mental energy, which is the second major thing I learned. I would come home from work and be unable to do much in the way of algebra, which I needed to stay fresh on for my degree next year. Being physically tired meant my brain couldn't function, even if I ate enough. There would be a point where my mind and body converge. If one is so depleted, then the other cannot function, even if it has not been used that much during the day. This gave me a perspective I'd never had before. Constant vigilance, required for the job, would rob the brain of its resources, and this experience transfers, as I'm sure this is what it's like to have children while working a job, even an office job. You can't rest, and your performance suffers. The mind, I found, needs real and deep periods of time where it knows I won't be interrupted. Perhaps that's why we all naturally have to sleep every night, otherwise we'd never have an uninterrupted moment for the brain to organize everything. When you work a job with a long shift, there is no time to rest. Yes, there may be downtime here and there, but because you have to stay alert in case a customer needs you to bring out a fridge, you aren't really resting, making mental work after the job near impossible. All I wanted to do was sleep. I felt sorry for people whose work requires them to be on call. Being on call is not for me, I would think. Then I thought, well, what gives me the right